My name's Martin. I'm a driver coach specializing in open formula. In this video, I'm going to share with you some insights and opportunities from first practice and sprint qualifying here in Qatar. If you're interested in what my thoughts are, definitely keep watching. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I hope you're all going well. Hope you enjoyed the day's play. Let's kick off with some general comments for FP1. Yeah, a lot of issues. I was really surprised at the amount of mid-corner balance issues that the cars were having, and all really different issues at pretty much all parts of the track as well. I thought like it's going to be fairly warm and fairly grippy, and we're at the end of the reg set, and I think it's probably because we got the hardest compounds here this weekend. And yeah, maybe track was a little bit dusty, but all sorts of issues cropping up. Everything mid-corner, right? From understeer to oversteer to exit oversteer, traction issues. Completely different weekend to what we had in Vegas, which was all about braking issues. We were talking about turning and braking at the same time, straightening the steering wheel, straight line braking, braking capacity, braking stability, braking confidence, braking temperature. Like all that was the story of Vegas. Barely saw a lockup pretty much all day today. So yeah, it wasn't just on the hards that they ran in the morning. It was also like in qualifying on the softs as well. And even when they put the softs on towards the end of FP1, all sorts of issues. Now, I think also as well, I mentioned it's a technical track as well, like we spoke about in the live stream. So you got a lot of different technical corners. So it's not like, for example, in Imola, you've got chicane, 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 and then Canada's chicane, 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 and then like Hungary's long corner, long corner, long corner. Here it's like it's actually a decent variety of technical corners, and I think that's why as well there's a bit of struggle going on. So for example, turn 4 and 5 double apex, a lot of issues in the mid corner testing the balance of the car, the hairpin at 6, the LCCR at turn 7, the increasing radius at 10 and 11. And then the 3 fast corners, 12, 13, and 14, which is not quite triple apex, but on its way there. Like there's a decent spread, like I say, of technical corners. The wind as well could have been a factor. Let's jump over to the whiteboard and have a look at them. Yeah, I've just got my north arrow over here. And so the wind was coming from the northern side and the northwestern side as well. And I think that's why we saw a lot of issues into turn 16. It's a fairly straightforward corner, turn 16, but it's such a high speed entry. And with the wind as well, a lot of guys got caught out on the exit, just that crosswind coming into there. And again, there's a significant track width across here as well. That's never helpful because the amount of load that you're putting on the car on the entry is crazy. And it does support a case for the tight line. I was thinking about tight lines early in the session, like just on the hard compound tire, with the track trying to clean up. And yeah, for sure, tight lines were an option. But then as you move into quali and you're looking for ultimate pace, the cars can deal with wider lines. Anyway, I'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, final corner struggles, double apex struggles, turn 7, a lot of struggles. We'll get into it as well. Okay, I just wanted to talk about Mclaren in the first instance on the hard compound tire. Lando's balance looked awful in FP1. I'm not sure why, and I'm not sure how they were able to turn it around so quickly. But there's all sorts of issues going on. I'll bring it up now. We'll have a look at it together. So this is in the turn 7 long corner. It picks up mid-corner oversteer. Then it doesn't want to turn on the exit, understeer, on traction here. And then into this fast right-hander. This is like literally 2 seconds later. Mid-corner oversteer. And then into the increasing radius 10. Again, mid-corner oversteer as well. And I saw that and I was like, that car looks, they're nowhere this weekend. That car looks terrible. And then like 20 minutes goes past or half an hour goes past, they put the softs on and the thing is rapid again. So I don't know, I don't have an answer for you as to why that car turned around so much. Also quite a lot of sparking from the Mclaren there. You guys may have seen it as well. And everyone was following it early in the session. So you can see here down the pit straight. I'm not sure where this is, but this is at the front of the car as well. A lot of sparking as well. So yeah, I think Lando's comments were taken a little bit out of context when he said, I don't think, if we have to raise the car, by the way, for this weekend, I don't think it will make us particularly slower because I'll be able to push a lot. And that's what he meant. Like if you guys came to the live stream, you would have seen all the lift and coast that was happening in the Vegas Grand Prix. Lando's like, if we can lift the car and I can drive a normal race and keep my foot flat through corners that should be flat, Yeah, we'll be much quicker. So I think he meant that in the context of the race management and with a racing cap on, not necessarily with the hat on of qualifying. I think if, obviously you raise the car, you lose overall performance. So I think his words were taken out of context there. I wanted to clear it up. I think he was talking about the lift and management during the race. They finished much stronger, like I say, in this session 1-2. And like I say, it was an odd turnaround. How they went from that balance to topping the timesheets was impressive, but also I don't understand how. I'll talk to you guys a little bit about the double apex turn 4 and 5. I like to just call it the square. So if you hear me call it the square, the reason I do is because it makes like a square. So it's a little bit silly, but yeah, that corner really tests balance because the car is so heavily loaded at the mid corner that if something can go wrong with the balance, it can go wrong. Not necessarily overall downforce. You can still have a lot of downforce or not much downforce, but if your car is in harmony and balanced, like you'll be all good. But anyway, there was a difference in lines across there in terms of the entry. I'll show it to you guys now. And this is classic for these two drivers. Everything I saw today was classic for all of the drivers, knowing them as we know them on the channel. So Lewis doing tight line, which means he's not, he's leaving a little bit of, well, what's this, a meter or something like that? He's leaving a little bit of space. He could turn in from a step wider if he wants to, but he's that half a car width inside. And he's just outside this white line here. He's got plenty of, all of this car is within track limits here. And that's how Lewis likes to drive. He's very conservative with his lines. He does drive tight lines. We spoke about this in the live stream. Exact same thing happened in 21 as well. Like he's been driving like this since 21 is what I want to say. And I said in the live as well, if anyone was going to milk this, it'll be Antonelli. And he was like full milking it, like absolute edge on entry. This is what I would be doing. From Lewis's position, like I say, it's a conservative line. So, I mean, you can only carry, like it might mitigate for some handling issues, but you can only carry so much ultimate speed in from that position. I'd want to sweep in from the curb and then just turn nice and gently and hope for the best because the mid-corner balance would be a struggle. But I thought I'd call that out. It's interesting. The Leopards haven't changed their spots at all this weekend. And now, check this out. As I move over to turn 7, the long corner of constant radius, a lot of different struggles from different teams and different drivers here taking different lines as well. So we're going to talk about that a little bit now. Yeah, and I'll bring up the video so you guys can see it. So this is Max. He likes to do the late apex short corner thing, V the corner off. So just leave a little bit of margin initially and soak that later on. But yeah, with the short corner, the minimum speed drops out of the car, which is fine on the entry. But then when you go to press the throttle, it's like you haven't got any momentum or speed. So then you always kind of get exit oversteer. That's the only thing that can go wrong with that style. Yeah, whereas Lewis is very different. Hopefully we've got a shot here of Lewis. This was Lando. He was having understeer in this corner. So you can see he's just chasing the front of the car and he just makes it within. Actually, he goes out of track limits there. So Max with traction, exit oversteer. Lando with understeer. And then Hamilton, he combines a lot on the entry and dives straight into the apex like very early on. So he's at the apex here already. And if you didn't see it just there, I'll slow it down. But there's a steering movement a little bit. You'll have to have a good eye to see it. But there's a bit of steering movement. So turn, turn, turn. And there's a bit of steering movement there. He just opens the wheel for a second. And that's very subtle. And you might look at that and think, oh, there's no story there. But no, this is a big story. This is one of the reasons why Lewis put more rear wing on. Have a look at this. This is a different time in practice as well. And crucially, pay attention to the gloves here. It'll be a bit blurry. Here we go. Glove. No glove. There's your glove again. No glove. And then the car's off the track. So I'll play it back for you guys because the video was a bit choppy. Let's see if it cleans up. Yeah, there you go. Glove, no glove. Bang. So yeah, if you open that up on a screen or a monitor, you'll see it. But essentially that was the difference in what the drivers were struggling with and how their lines and styles gives them different problems in those corners as well. So I thought that was interesting. And I've spoken about this before, right? I've brought this up on the channel before in terms of Hungary, full of long corners of constant radius. And this is why the 7 technical corner framework is so powerful, because I can just go from a long corner of constant radius in Qatar and show you an example in Hungary. Everything's exactly the same. So this is Max with the short corner. He leaves a little bit of space here, with the intention to absorb that space later as he goes on throttle, which he does. And the thing is, he can get spin on the exit. He can get traction issues because the speed drops out of the car. Like I say, that's exactly what happens. I'll show you that image in a second. And this is Lewis. He's already at the apex. There's no room or space to absorb. And the issue is he has to straighten the steering wheel in the middle of the corner. This was in like 2020, guys. So they literally haven't changed their styles at all. I'll see if I can show you Max on the exit. Yeah, here you go. So this is Max going for throttle on the exit. I think it was in 23, I want to say. And then the same. So it's literally like the exact same stuff that has always happened in long corners of constant radius with these great drivers is still continuing to happen. I've got a better, bigger piece of analysis on that Hungary second last corner in Hungary. I'll put a link to it in the video description below. Yeah, so the big question is, which lines do you take, right? Which is the best? Which is the optimal? The way I see it is for qualifying, like you can sweep in from wider and carry more speed and essentially ask more from the car, like load it up more, and the car should be able to deal with it and try to put it on pole, obviously. But then in the race, I just feel like you're going to need to drive tight lines to protect the front tires, given how much inflation they're at 28 PSI this weekend. So they're going to overheat pretty quickly. And like I say, if you're following in dirty air, so you might want to offset your line, drive a tight line in all of these corners. So the double apex 4 and 5 and early entries into 7 as well. And just try to offset your line and drive less meters and put the car through less load, particularly across the front. So I think that's would be my approach. And yeah, but you've got to put it on pole. Like qualifying is so important and it's difficult to pass around here. There's so much aero wash and the front tires are already struggling that it will be hard to follow. So yeah, that's how I'd approach it. So moving over to qualifying, just as we were talking about Lewis Hamilton and the struggles that he was having just with the rear on the entry as he brakes super hard and turns in super hard to dive into the early entry and the rear steps out, Hamilton put on more rear wing for qualifying. And I was like, no, Lewis, that's not your solution. On a track that's this, like got this much full throttle time, I think we said it was around 70 to 80% in our live stream. Like it's a very high percentage of full throttle. That rear wing comes with, yeah, it might fix the issue in turn 7. Actually, it's probably the thing that's the highest probability to fix the issue in turn 7. But it also comes with a lot of negatives as well. It comes with drag implications around the whole lap. So you're fixing like a very small entry into 7 and you might get a benefit there. But the issues are for the rest of the track. You can't change that rear wing angle. So it comes with drag issues around the whole track. And it also comes with balance implication issues for other corners as well. Like it's not something you can say, I want this rear wing angle for that corner and that for that corner. So if you've got other corners that you're happy with, but that's your only corner, then rear wing is not your solution. In fact, it would be the other way around. If you've got that entry oversteer in all of your corners and your top speed is like super quick, all right, then you can go for rear wing. You probably need it at that point. So I say all of that to say it's going to be costly to add rear wing on. It wouldn't be my first choice. Given that it is under combined braking on the entry to 7, my first choices would be brake balance, brake migration, speed of downshifts, engine braking, all of your driver tools, entry diff, mid diff. These are the things that I'd be playing with because firstly, they're mechanical solutions, so they don't come with a drag implication. And number 2, you can reverse them back out as you go through the track and go through other corners. So it's a more elegant solution. So I would have been trying that. And I'm a big fan of playing with the driver tools and not touching the aero balance because like you're going to be hammered in qualifying with that much drag. And that's exactly what we saw. I think Lewis comes on the radio and he's like, the car won't go any quicker. And I'm like, yeah, because your foot's flat through most of the lap. So I don't think that was a good decision by Lewis and race operations at Ferrari. I'm not surprised. Whereas Max, on the contrary, was like, yeah, we played with a lot of tools. Nothing seemed to fix it. It's like, okay, I'd rather that than you just adding drag to the car for some small balance implication. And the final thing I didn't mention is change your line. There's nothing stopping you from driving Max's line. With Max's line, we know already he's never going to get the rear instability issues on entry. He'll have like on throttle traction issues on the exit, which you can manage with your right foot. So it's weird that that's the solution, but yeah, just change your line. It's not hard. And you might think, the drivers drive their ways and styles and it's hard to change line. Not really. It's not that hard to change your line. Like literally just take a later apex. That's all you have to do. It's like you've got to be able to do that as a driver. So yeah, he also went really deep at turn 1 on his flying lap as well. I think he probably lost a couple of tenths. If I get a chance, I'll go over to have a look at the telemetry in a second. Yeah, I've got a philosophy that says you need to understand the qualifying tire and understand how to prepare it for the lap in your sprint sessions. This session was completely different to that. It took me by surprise. They pretty much bolt the mediums on and just hammered laps for 11 minutes in SQ1. And the track evolution was so big that that was the correct thing to do. So it wasn't a case like I thought where you've got one lap and you've got to prepare the tire and go for it. And after that, it's tire degradation falls away and so on. It's just a result of probably the hard compounds that we have. There was the C4 was the medium. And so it was just, they bolted it on. They just, hot lap, cool lap, hot lap, cool down lap, hot lap, cool down lap. And they did that pretty much the whole session. So yeah, very different philosophy, but it was the guys did the correct one. Okay, let's jump over to the telemetry and see what we can find with Lewis and Charles. I just see if Lewis was bleeding time, around other parts of the lap. Oh, damn, he was. That's the problem. And even Charles has got higher minimum speeds as well. So this is the thing that even when their foots are flat, I'm looking at the track. Sorry, just to give you guys a bit of context. I'm looking at the back end of the track where the drag is really heavy. It's painted in white, which is Leclerc's track dominance. But I'm also thinking that in these high-speed corners, adding rear wing will just give you a bit of understeer. And so, like I said before, it'll throw your balance out here and it's giving you drag implications as well. But this is the biggest part for me is on the exit of 10, where Lewis has the rear wing and he should be able to go after the throttle. It's Leclerc that's pulling through the exit of 10 as well. So there's no benefit to this, Lewis. This is a waste of time. Every time I see Lewis walking back after a Q1 exit, he's got Angela next to him. And I'm like, mate, Angela's probably the most lovely lady in the world, probably the best at her job in terms of physical and mental. But does Angela know anything about on-throttle differential, brake balance, brake migration, engine braking, and rear wing setup and drag implications and mid-quarter balance? I don't think so. And that's with all respect to Angela. She's probably excellent at her job and she seems like a lovely person. She's not a lap time ticket though. She's not a key to lower lap time. And that's why I always look at that and I'm like, what does that person actually do for you from a lap time perspective? I don't know. And therefore, and I say all that to say, Lewis, get your hands on some drivers and driver coaches that can be with you at all times and steer you in the right direction. Because yeah, you guys know my philosophy on the channel. Putting rear wing on is the last solution we would go for. So it's just the lack of understanding at this point as well. I don't know, guys. It's really sad at this point. But anyway, I thought he went deep at turn 1. I saw that on the onboard and he did. Found a little bit back in the mid corner for a second. And this is the thing, as they head down to turn 4, Lewis goes from being a fraction up to just on the way down to turn 4, he's a fraction down. So like that there you can see the drag happening as well. And obviously down the pit straight, he's getting hammered. You can see that. So not a good decision by Lewis. So that's all I wanted to say to you guys there. It's a terrible race operations call to add more rear wing to the car. All right, let's talk about Max Verstappen and his struggles as well. So he was not happy with the car in practice as well. He complained about something very interesting, very curious, which was damping and bouncing. And it's the first I've heard of a driver complaining about that. Like, I get it. I understand that normally it's like oversteer, understeer, braking struggles. Bouncing was a strange one. And he's like, yeah, the damping is off. The bounce, there's too much bouncing. And I get what he means. He's like coming into the corner like this. And the thing is, when you've got that bouncing, it's so hard to time your turn in. You just need everything quiet as a driver. Like the car just to stay settled and so you can just focus on timing, because it is a timing sport. You've got to time the turn in. And if it's bouncing up and down, then you're trying to find a point where the car is settled so that you can turn, but you never find that point. Like the car's never settled. So it does throw your rhythm and timing off a little bit. It's a bit annoying. But then he went off at turn 4 and 5 on his main quali lap in SQ3 with understeer. And we spoke about that as well. Where like double apex corners test car balance. And so the understeer that he picked up was exactly in the middle of the corner that just started to understeer. So yeah, there you go. McLaren car is totally different. So like its aero balance at those high speeds are it's on the nose. And I think that's helpful around here, particularly, I'm just looking at the whiteboard, sorry, like particularly like the way Oscar got the nose into here is really helpful. And also here to get the nose in here is really good, and obviously carry speed through all these corners. So even here, I just feel like the whole track, having the aero balance on the nose, like Max would love to drive the McLaren. They look really on the nose, and yeah, we can see as much. I'll bring up a picture for you guys now. Yeah, so this was turn 4, and yeah, this is the point at which Max starts to pick up his understeers just as he approaches the middle of the corner. He ends up going off and yeah, jumps on the radio and is complaining. Oscar, the car is so on the nose that even just on the entry, on the initial turn in, Oscar gets a little bit of oversteer. He was discussing that with Karun as well, but Oscar managed to correct it and then go through. So that's also very, very odd, like to pick up that initial entry oversteer. It just shows you how on the nose their aero balance actually is. So really good job by Oscar and really good job by George as well. Again, I didn't expect Mercedes to be up there. It shows like how unpredictable, and I guess a lack of my understanding as well. I thought Mercedes were good in cold mechanical grip situations, and here they are competing for sprint pole in a hot Qatar that's fully loaded, full with downforce. So like, I'm not sure. But anyway, good job by George. I always keep saying George is up there in my top 4. And a good job by Oscar. He's back this weekend. He's back happy. He's back in like a high downforce, you know, highly loaded circuit where he can throw the car around a little bit. So good to see him back as well. Now, I think it's clear for Oscar what his issue was. It was back at those low grip mechanical tracks like Vegas and Mexico and so on. So he definitely loves these tracks, and good to see him on pole. We'll have a quick squeeze at the telemetry, and then we'll wrap up. I think we'll take the McLaren boys and see what happened with their fastest laps. It's like Lando didn't improve on his final run. I think he got a bit of traffic, so I want to take that one. And I want obviously Oscar's pole lap, which is the 20 flat. Wow, okay, this is interesting for me because even with that issue in the final corner, Oscar pretty much had him covered. It looked like really strange. Like Piastri is able to carry so much mid-corner in 7 and 11, which with really high minimum speeds, which is super helpful for lap time. You see the delta starts to jump, even the hairpin actually. And that's really odd. Like, why can't, like, he's getting destroyed through these corners, is Lando Norris. Oscar here has got another 5Ks in the middle of the hairpin. He's got another 9 or 10Ks here in turn 7, long corner of constant radius. Gee, that's helpful. He's got, yeah, another 7Ks here in the increasing radius of turn 10. So that's very odd. I'm not sure why Lando can't keep the minimum speeds through there. And then in terms of the lap time loss that Oscar lost, you see we're painted orange here in favor of Lando Norris. Lando was down 6.5 and it ended up being up, yeah, 0.2. So about a 10th Oscar lost through there. So yeah, I guess it looked worse than it was. He only lost a 10th through the square, but he was hammering Lando through here. This is strange for me. I'm not sure what happened with Lando, like why the minimum speeds, yeah, even here as well through 15. Mate, Oscar can carry 264, Lando's 257. I'm not sure why. That's very curious for me, that Oscar's minimum speeds are much higher. So not sure. Tires in the right window, better lines, more comfortable with the mid-corner balance. Yeah, there you go. Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you learned something from it, drop a thought question in the comments section below. And I'll see you guys after the sprint race tomorrow and the main qualifying as well. Cheers.